Melania Trump was just on Fox News where she was asked a lot of probing questions and she gave very odd answers. There's a lot of clips to go through. I got a little bit of analysis. Let's just get started. Here's Melania Trump admitting that she was not with her husband when Donald Trump was almost killed, because she's never with him, because they're never together, because she doesn't like him. Here is that question and answer.
And a few weeks later, there's another attempt on your husband's life at your golf course. Where were you and what was your reaction to this attempt?
I was in New York City, actually, and I saw it on the television. And as soon as I saw it on television, I called again. And he was okay, because Secret Service were great. The guys that they were with him, they were fantastic. And I think both of the events, they were really miracles. If you really think about it, the July 13 was a miracle, like that much, and he could, he could not be with us.
And he normally doesn't call for that one screen. He waits till the end of the speech. So just looking at that screen allowed him to turn his head.
I think something was watching over him. I think he's, it's almost like country really needs him.
Gotta love that they all have a God complex now, that they think that they're the chosen ones from God, when really it was just an unfortunate event and a very fortunate circumstance. And I tell you this, the country does not need Donald Trump, because the country has never been better. The country is doing well under Joe Biden. Here is Melania Trump, not really answering why she didn't speak at the RNC. And I just want you to see how she, the passion with which she supports her husband's run for president. Real quick, if you're liking this video, hit like on the video. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. It helps the channel a lot and pushes this message out to more people who need to see it. Thanks so much.
How did you feel about Donald Trump running again?
I support him. I know how passionate he is to make America great again.
We saw you backstage at the RNC. Do you want to talk about why you decided not to come out on stage and give a speech like you did in 2016?
It was my decision. I think was just the time. I think was the right time. In days before, I wrote a beautiful letter to America.
Yes.
And I think in one way that letter was my speech.
The raid on.
Really beautiful ode to her husband there. I support him. Okay. Okay, yeah, I really believe you. And remember when Melania Trump stole Michelle Obama's speech from the DNC? She used a very similar version to it, almost word for word, at the RNC. Maybe that's why Melania Trump didn't feel like speaking again, because here's a bit of that.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're gonna do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them, and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They thought and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son.
What an absolutely shameless family, just shameless. And here is Melania Trump being upset that they're calling Donald Trump, we're all calling Donald Trump, a threat to democracy, as if he didn't literally try to stop a free and fair election. We are just calling a spade a spade.
And mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs to unite. And I encourage everybody to read my letter that I wrote on July 14 again, because that cannot continue.
Letter was very powerful. What made you get to the point of writing that letter?
That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
How do you feel when people say they don't like him? What do you wish they knew about him?
That he is really a family man. He loves his family. He loves this country. And all he wants to build better and prosperous.
Yeah, he's just strong. He's not afraid to
No, he's not
talk
strong.
about the way
You
it
could
really
see
is.
the way he was when he was shot, that in the ear, that the way he stood up and he said, fight, 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 because we cannot allow that to happen.
Okay, but come
I'm going to be a body language expert for just a moment, and let's just rewind and watch Melania Trump's head movement when she's talking about Donald Trump being a family man and loving his family and loving his country.
A family man. He loves his family. He loves this country.
I don't believe you. And then here's what Melania Trump boils down Donald Trump's presidency to and his accomplishments and the racism and the Nazism and the election denialism. Here's what she boils it all down to.
So I think American people need to decide what they really want. Maybe some, strong tweets, but everything else great for this country. So it's all in the American people's hands on November 5th.
This woman is an idiot. She boils down Donald Trump's presidency to some mean tweets. Everything else great for the country. Okay. Millions of people died because of Donald Trump. Millions. And the tweets were insane. I know we forget what it was like, but it was like a bombardment of craziness every day. And because he's on Truth Social, we're kind of not as exposed to it. Only the really, really crazy ones get out there, but he's still tweeting up a storm or truthing, whatever they call it on that app. And just lastly, the American people did decide what we wanted. We have Joe Biden as our president. Whether or not you or Donald Trump want to admit it, Joe Biden won because the American people fired Donald Trump. And it is very fitting that the man who has been found liable for sexual assault is the presidential candidate who can't take no for an answer. We fired him once. He couldn't accept it. He came back, and we're getting ready to do it again.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?